Okay, we're continuing in Shmuel Aleph. We're in Perek Tes Vav, Pasuk Tes Vav, I believe. Pasuk Tes Zayin. Yes, Pasuk Tes Zayin. So after Shmuel tells Shul, what is the voice of the sheep that I hear in my ears, and the voice of the cattle that I hear? So Shul says, I brought them from the Amalekis because the nation had mercy on the choices of the flocks to bring korbanos to Hashem, and we destroyed the rest. And we see again that Shul is not the third and final thing that made his sin unforgivable, is that he didn't even accept the criticism, and he didn't regret it, and didn't confess. So then he's getting out of this. He's saying, well, the people had mercy, etc., etc. Didn't accept responsibility. It's interesting. We'll talk about a little bit later, but it seems of the two things that Shul did wrong, he did two things wrong. He left Agag, and he left the sheep. The only one that Shmuel is criticizing him for is for leaving the sheep. He doesn't criticize him for leaving Agag. So we'll have to see later on, maybe today we'll have an answer to that question. But he should have said more than that one thing. It could be, right?
Did he know? Because maybe he just heard the sheep. Did he know Agag was there?
Well, first of all, Shmuel is a Navi. That's number one. And number two, I believe the Pasuk says that explicitly. Hashem comes to him.
Yeah, it says he.
One second. Where? No. It says Vayhid. Well, what's it say? Pasuk Yud Aleph. Hashem Yud and Yud Aleph. Hashem came to Shmuel in a dream, and he said to him, "I regretted that I made Shul the king, because he didn't uphold my words." So let's put it this way: if you want to know literally, Hashem didn't tell him anything. Besides, he didn't listen to me. It's fairly likely that he probably told him both things. He didn't tell him anything. But you could say, maybe. Yeah, I mean, you are giving a potentially technically correct answer. Maybe Hashem didn't tell him anything specifically, and the only thing he heard was the sheep making noise. That could be one answer. We could say another answer is that really he wanted to get him on both things. But remember, what you usually do when you want to give someone criticism is you don't say it directly. First you kind of just get into the conversation. Well, what's that noise I hear? He hasn't criticized him yet. Give him a chance to do tshuva first. Right? So the easy thing to do is, what's that noise I hear? So, okay, you have first chance to say you made a mistake. He couldn't bring up Agag, because that would be directly criticizing him. So he just said, what's the voice I hear? He didn't say anything negative to him yet. He says, those are the sheep that, we left, because the people had mercy on it. So that would be, and it could very well be that once he wouldn't even accept responsibility to that, he figured, what am I going to bother to tell him anything about Agag? There'd be another technically correct answer. Okay, so there's two technically correct answers. The Tzaddik will give a more Musadik answer later on, we'll get to, but that would be two good answers on that. So let's see how Shmuel reacts now to. You got to remember, the first time he sees him, he says, "Oh, blessed are you! Look, I did the word of Hashem. Did the word of Hashem. So what is the sheep that I'm hearing?" And he's not even admitting what he did wrong over there. So in Tes Zayin, Vayomer Shmuel Shul. So Shmuel says to Shul, "Heref, stop what you're doing. Vagida l'chais asher diber Hashem elei halayla, and I will tell you what Hashem said to me last night." Vayomer lo daber, and he said to him, "Go ahead, tell me what you have to say." So the Malbim says that he says Heref. He said, stop speaking. Stop denying that you haven't done any sin. You know, you're denying your sin, which was an avon gadol, which was a big sin. As the prophet Jeremiah says, Hashem says, I will judge you for the fact you said you didn't sin. So, in other words, Hereth, the Malm says, like, put your hand on your mouth. Stop talking. I'm going to tell you exactly what you did wrong. Second. It's coming up a minute. There isn't any Muslim. All right. We don't have to do that. Yeah. Next pasuk. Vayomer Shmuel. Shmuel begins, and he says, "Halo im katan ata be'einecha rosh shiftei Yisrael ata." Even if you feel that you are small in your eyes, you are the head of the tribes of Israel. V'yimshachach Hashem l'melech al Yisrael, and Hashem has anointed you as king over the Jewish people. So the Malbim explains. He starts knocking him down each point, one after the other. He says, first you said the people had mercy on him. Right? You're making it sound as if you didn't have the strength to go against the people. Well, listen, you are the Roshei Shiftei Yisrael Atah. You are the heads of the Jewish people. So whatever they're going to do, you're going to take responsibility for that. That's number one. Doesn't matter. You're the king. Since you're the king, you have to take responsibility for what goes on. Number one. Number two, you're going to say that you were afraid of them? But then, Hashem anointed you for a king. You're not a king that was voted in by the people. You don't have to worry about public opinion. Obama has to worry about public opinion. Right? The most important thing in being a leader nowadays is just that people should like you. Doing the right thing has nothing to do with being a leader. So, okay, I understand. But when Hashem makes you the king, then there's only one person you answer to, and that's Hashem. You don't answer to other people. Because Hashem is the one that anointed you. So if Hashem is the one who anointed you, that's the one you have to listen to, and the only one you have to listen to. And you don't have to be afraid. You could be zero in the polls, and Hashem will still make you the king. So therefore, that is the end of excuse number two. Now, it's interesting. The Radak brings down the Targum Yonasan and this pasuk, which gives us a little historical background to everything that's going on over here. And the Targum says, and we'll just we'll bring it the way that we'll just read it from the Radak. It's easier. He says historically, when the Jewish people were at the Sea of Reeds, and the Jewish people were afraid to jump in. So what happened? It's a little lesser well-known medrash. Who jumped in first? It was the tribe of Binyamin who jumped in first. And they started to go in first. It's the tribe of Binyamin. Shevet Yehuda saw that was going on over there, and they got kind of insulted that Yehuda is really the leader, going to be the leader, and they should be the first one to act. So what do? They started throwing stones at them so that they should go back. And then Nachshon ben Aminadav jumped into the water, and then his tribe went after him. Right? And there's a pasuk that in Tehillim that seems to indicate that. So it's a pasuk in Tehillim, Samach Ches, pasuk Chav Ches, where it says that Binyamin, the younger one, went down first. He went down first. And then Yehuda came in afterwards, but they started throwing stones at them. So why would Shmuel tell him that? What does that have to do with the Musar that he's giving him over here? So the Musar Hanavim is really based on a Gemara in Saita, which you just said. So he's saying that you are even if you are small in your eyes, you are the leader of the Jewish people. That Binyamin is the youngest tribe. You come from Binyamin, Shul. So Binyamin is the youngest tribe, but you still merited greatness because you guys jumped in first. Your descendants who jumped in first.
It's the simple meaning. The Musar Nevi'im extends that and says, why is he mentioning this event right now? Because Shul was trying to excuse himself because it's hard to stand up against all the people because they wanted to bring the loot and bring korbanos. It was hard to go against everybody there. So he says, listen, you're from a tribe that when it comes to a mitzvah, you don't care what other people have to say. And everybody wasn't sure what to do at the Yam Suf. You just jumped in, the first one. And even Yehuda started throwing stones at you. You guys didn't back off. So you come from a tribe that you don't take this from other people. If you feel it's the right thing to do, you do the right thing to do. And therefore, you should have gone against the people's wills as well. So in other words, what the Navi is telling him, Hashem doesn't criticize you for more than what you're capable of doing. And if you descend from people who are able to do what's right and to do what's a mitzvah, even when others amongst your people are throwing stones at you and criticizing you, and you still felt it was the correct thing to go in, so then you have it in your blood to be able to do the will of Hashem and do the correct thing under all circumstances and not to concern yourself with that. So that's the criticism that he's laying down on him. Okay. So Pasuk Yud Ches. So then he continues, Shmuel continues with the criticism. Vayishlachach Hashem badorach, and Hashem sent you on a pathway. Vayomer, and he said, Lech, go, v'acharamta es achatoim, go destroy the sinners, es Amalek, v'nilchamta bo, and fight with them, ad kalosam osam, until you destroy them. That's what Hashem told you to do. Let's just finish up your test. V'loma lo shamata b'kol Hashem, and why did you not listen to the voice of Hashem? V'atat el hashalol, v'atas harabin Hashem, and you quickly went after the loot, and you did evil in the eyes of Hashem. Okay, now he isn't mincing his words with him. He isn't just asking, what's the voice of the sheep that I hear? As soon as he hears Shul saying, oh, this was, the people wanted him, he just says, be quiet. I mean, listen to what Hashem said over here, not what I'm saying over here. So, the Malbim continues to explain the criticism over here. So, on the point that they wanted to bring the animals for korbanos, right? So he's saying, listen, first of all, Vayishlachacho Hashem baderech, Hashem sent you on a path. So you have to remember, who was the one who was sending you. So you're going to have to look at all the aspects here. Number one is who sent you, is Hashem. And Hashem gave you a shlichus. So again, we know the famous vort, isn't the Malbim, but we know the famous vort that all the tzaddikim say, that shluchah shalom kamoso, a messenger of a person is like the person himself. So therefore, if Hashem is the one who sends you, so you're the messenger of Hashem, you're like Hashem, meaning to say, Hashem gives you all the ability you need to succeed in your mission. Other people can make you a messenger, maybe you can't do the job. It might not be possible. But Hashem sends you, He gives you the ability. So, since you were doing a shlichus of Hashem, since when do you not do exactly the shlichus of Hashem? You don't have to worry, what people are saying with this. You're a shliach. It's Hashem sending you. It's not just anybody. It wasn't me sending you. I told you it was the name of Hashem. So then it's Hashem sending you. And what did he say? He said, Lech lecharamta sachatoim, go and destroy the sinners. And therefore you shouldn't have changed anything. Okay, if Hashem told you this was the shlichus, that's all you were supposed to do. He said, destroy all sinners. Finished. Right? And he made it very clear. Ad kalosam osam, till you destroy them. Right? So now you see another way we measure a person. You measure a person by, you say, somebody did something wrong. Well, let's look at the factors. Number one, who's the one who sent him? It wasn't Joe Schmo, it was Hashem. So that's really serious. You got to listen to Hashem. And then you look at what was the job you were given. How serious was the job you were given? You're given a very serious job. The job was uncompromising. You have to destroy them completely. And therefore, to the degree that the action that you were told to do is so important, so you have to be extremely important to do every detail exactly the way it was given to you. And so the action becomes greater in and of itself, in and of the one who commanded you to do it, and in of the one who was supposed to be doing it. Okay? If a schlepper tells a schlepper to do a not such important job, they give all kinds of excuses. When it's the Almighty, number one, who's sending Shalom Melech, a person who never did Avera, to do the most important job, well then everything has to be exactly the way it's supposed to be. So everything is factored in over here. So who's the guy who's got to do the job? You're the head of the Jewish people, right? So you're an important guy. And the one who commanded you is Hashem commands you. And the action was an incredibly important action. And this is all part of being what you're being the king. Hashem lamelech. And Hashem made you for a king. Right? So Hashem made you for a king. So that means you have to act in a kingly fashion. So therefore, he's criticizing him on all ends over here. Everything was just totally wrong over here. And that's why he says in Pasuk Yates, so why didn't you listen to the voice of Hashem? And again, he's almost being a bit repetitive over here, but again, it's the voice of Hashem, and the way you're acting is like as if you were swiftly going to take the loot, as if there's some benefit coming from all this, and he says, and this is what you did bad in the eyes of Hashem. That even though, as I mentioned this myself, but I see Mom says it clearly. So he says that when you do something, just like when a Kohen does his avodah, if he has any bad thoughts of what he's going to do that avodah, the whole avodah is called pigul. It's nullified. And therefore, if you detract a little bit from the mitzvah Hashem, so it's not considered like you did part of the mitzvah. Say, okay, so I did 95% of the mitzvah already. What do you want? So let's look from a percentage basis. Of all the Amalekis, how many did he not kill? 1. Okay, of all the sheep, how many did he not kill? He probably killed tons. Right? So whatever, maybe 15%. The best. How much is the best already? 10%, 15%, I don't know. Okay, so give me a 95. Give me a score. If I was taking a math test, what would you give me? It was a very hard calculus test, okay, for the top students. So I got a 95 on a calculus test. You go, that's great. Right? But the problem is there was a part that you did wrong. And that part that you did wrong, right, then it's like you've rendered the whole thing not correct. What if you have a mitzvah? You have to put on tzitzis, yeah? So it's okay. And on your shirt, you have 3 corners with tzitzis and 1 without. So at least give me a 75%. The answer is, how much of the mitzvah did you do if you only have 3 out of 4 corners? It's a 0. What if you have 3 parshas on your tefillin? What if you not forget that? What if you put your tefillin on but they're not centered properly on your head? Right? So that's the avera of detracting from a mitzvah. The avera of detracting from a mitzvah is that you didn't do the mitzvah at all. It's not like you get a 95%. When you detract from a mitzvah, see, that's what Malvin is saying. How could you say you didn't listen to the voice of Hashem? Say you didn't listen to 5% of the voice of Hashem. And it comes out, it's not, at least say, you did a lot of good, and you did some bad. But he's saying, no, you did bad. And the final analysis is you did bad. You get a 0. So what do you mean you got a 0? It's a 95. Right? But no. But since Hashem gave you this clear instruction, so not fulfilling the instruction totally in this scenario, it's like you didn't do the mitzvah at all. This was the way the mitzvah was designed. You have to destroy them all. No questions asked. The fact you already had questions, and you did this, and you did that. You didn't listen to this mitzvah. It's like any other mitzvah. If you don't do the mitzvah exactly the way it's meant to be done, you didn't do the. What if you decide to start the Seder this year? Well, Purim's starting late. It wasn't a Shabbos. It's too long to fast. Let's just read the Megillah at 6 o'clock. Reading the Megillah 100% perfectly, mamash with the beautiful niggin and everything, and mamash unbelievable reading. Right? I only did one thing wrong. I started it 2 hours early. So we're going to say you get a 95 for doing it. You get a 0. You didn't listen. So the same thing. You didn't listen. It's like totally not listening. So it's very clear what his response is. Okay, so you had a first chance and you didn't chap. It's exactly the same prototype for every in history. Adam and Rishon went exactly the same way. Everyone the same way. First you hint. Maybe he'll just sound the hint. Right away he'll do tshuva. And he says, gives excuses. It's like, and I'm going to make it very clear to you. It's not, no doubt over here. He spells it out. This is exactly. You did not listen to the voice of Hashem. And like you rushed to get the loot. It's like you were rushing to get it. Okay, and so now here's the final nail in the coffin. As I said, Pasuk Chaf, Chaf Chafal, the final nail in the coffin. Vayomer Shaul Shmuel. Shaul says to Shmuel, Asher Shamati B'Kol Hashem. I did listen to the voice of Hashem. That's after the Navi said you didn't listen to the voice of Hashem. Vaylech Baderech Asher Shlachan Hashem. And I went on the very path that Hashem sent me. And I'll prove it to you. Vavi es Agag Melech Amalek. And I even brought Agag, the king of Amalek. Ves Amalek Echaramti. And I destroyed all of Amalek. Right? So that's what Mama says it straight out. He says, I didn't change an iota in anything. I listened totally the way Hashem told me. And even in the goal, I did. Because I even brought Agag, and that's a sign of total victory. To be able to take the king alive, that's even a greater Kiddush Hashem. Not just we killed them, but we totally destroyed them. To the point we could even bring the king alive. And we brought him down to be killed, not to save his life. Obviously not. But that shows a total victory to bring the king alive. And we did the goal. We totally destroyed Amalek. Finished. Totally wiped them out. To the point that we could even bring the king alive. That's how we brought them alive. And it could be very well, he wants to bring him to give Shmuel the honor to kill him. Or to kill Agag with Nechol Am Va'eda. You know, that let's just like when they caught, what's his name? Who was the leader of Iraq? What's his name? Saddam Hussein. You know, they didn't stop kill him. They made sure to videotape it. The whole world should see it. So people shouldn't think now they never got him. They never really killed him. Said they killed him. No, they videotaped it. So everybody should know that he was Mamish killed. And he just said, "Well, we killed the king." What do you mean? Where is he? Hey, somewhere in the bathroom. I don't know. He said, "No, we're going to bring the king in front of everybody." And that is Mamish fulfilling the word of Hashem 100%. You know, that's what he thinks. And then he continues, Pasuk Chav Vayikach ha'am ha'shalal tzon u'vakar reishi sacherim. And the people brought from the loot the sheep and cattle. The first of that was to be designated for Hashem to bring korbanos. We didn't bring korbanos, and to bring them in Gilgal. To totally make a Kiddush Hashem. And you were telling me we're rushing for the loot. He says, first of all, don't associate that. We associate with the people, number one. Right? And even then, they weren't planning on getting any profits. It's just to bring a korban Hashem. Exactly what Hashem wanted. Right? So what's your problem? So, once that, it's like goodbye. Pasuk Chabez.
Did he really think it? Did he really?
Why not? Because we never planned on having any personal benefit. What do you think? We came to take the loot for ourselves.
He's saying they'd kill it all anyway.
We're going to kill all the animals. We're all going to be brought as korbanos. They're going to be brought as sacrifices to Hashem. It's going to be a big Kiddush Hashem.
Right, so he's saying, give me a little more time and I'll finish the job.
You know, and now, of course, they could have killed them all on the battlefield.
That's right.
Right, but we already discussed in the last few classes. You know, there's a little bit of Shalol Hashem Shemaim that was creeping in here, but you know, on the surface it looks like everything was fine. But that's not what Hashem didn't tell him bring any korbanos. Where'd you get this idea to go bring korbanos? Did he say go take the animals and take them back and bring them as korbanos?
Well, but if he kills them anyway, at the end of the day, what's the difference?
No, but I'm just,
first of all,
the whole Tube Sukkim is what I'm asking. The whole Tube Sukkim, he starts off by saying, and you listen to Hashem's voice, and then, come on, having captured the king, that there's not even a question.
Well, but they are planning on killing him.
Yeah.
But he was interpreting more than what Hashem wants. Hashem just said, if you go back to the original commandment, you got to go back to what he told him. He said, kill them and destroy them. Don't have compassion upon them. Kill them, literally. It doesn't make any exceptions over here. Kill them all out. He didn't say, and then go bring korbanos. He didn't say, bring the king alive. He said, kill them all. It was very clear what was to be done over there. And he said, well, we we wanted to make it look even better. We make it look better than what you wanted, Hashem. He says, I never asked to bring korbanos. Right? And basically what I said in the alternative class, you know that the Amalekis they were sorcerers. The Amalekis were sorcerers. When Hashem asked Yoshua to go get soldiers to kill out Amalek when they fought them right after they left Egypt, so they said you have to find people who are warriors and tzaddikim, and also they know how to fight sorcery, anti-sorcerers. So what do you need to be an anti-sorcerer for? Because the Amalekis, we said, they knew the magic to turn themselves into animals. They can turn themselves into animals, and by doing that, you won't kill them, and then they can get away or whatever. And more than that, if you're going to turn them into animals, then what's going to happen? You're going to bring them for a korban? Like, you think you're so smart? Do you think Hashem wants an Amaleki brought as a korban? Right? Go bring him as a korban. I don't want Amaleki as a korban. There's no way they can. Remember, Amalek is so bad. There's nothing good about Amalek. So you can imagine. It's exactly what I don't want for a korban. I don't want that. They're not elevated up in Hashem's realm. They have to be totally destroyed.
Isn't there also an aspect of if Hashem didn't tell them that they were allowed to take shalal, which He specifically told them they're not allowed to, then they're bringing korbanos that is stolen property. It's not how do you bring a korban?
It could be stolen property.
It's not yours.
It can also be, that's what they're saying. No, it's not mine. You're right. It's not mine. So I bring it as a korban. It's not mine. They didn't take any benefit. You could see how they could misconstrue it. I'm not. Nobody kept it. Nobody took anything for themselves. We're going to give it to you, to Hashem. So, you could hear what, how he felt justified. Okay, so now Shmuel gives him the final blow, and that's it. Chav Beis and Chav Gimel. Two separate, very powerful ideas over here. Vayomer Shmuel says, Hachefetz la'Hashem ba'olos u'svachim kishmoya b'koil Hashem. Does Hashem want burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as He wants you to listen to His voice? Hinei shmoa mizevach tov la'akshiv mechel elim. Listening is better than a choice korban. To pay attention is better than the fats of the rams. So the Malbim explains very nicely over here the following. He brings down, he says there's a difference between the word chefetz and the word ratzon. In English they sound the same. Chafetz is what you want. Ratzon, what do you want? Chefetz, desire, wanting. Chefetz and ratzon. Right? What's in these words? And the word that Shmuel uses is chefetz. He says, ha-chefetz l'Hashem. So he says like this. Chefetz, he says, is a tchuna nafshis. It's an inherent natural feeling, a natural wanting. That you naturally want something for whatever. It could be on a physical level, it could be on a spiritual level. You could naturally want to be a fresser, want to eat a steak, just want to fress. Or you could naturally love someone, you could naturally want something that's good, you naturally want to be nice to people. In your nature, you're wanting something from your nature. As opposed to ratzon, he says that's chuna machshavis. That's coming from your intellectual nature. In other words, really, in terms of yourself, I really couldn't care less about it. But because of the good that my mind says it is, and that's the proper thing, that's why I want to do it. It's two different ideas. There's one idea is that you naturally want it, so I inherently want. And then, to understand that that's good, like we explained on Shabbos morning, if you remember the Ratzon Chitzon, the Ratzon Panimi and the Ratzon Chitzoni that the Rebbe talked about, the Balatani talked about. That he said the Nefesh, the Ratzon Panimi, the inner Ratzon of Hashem is the Jewish people. Also, all He wants is the Jewish people. That's all He wants. But then there's the Ratzon Chitzoni. Then there's the external Ratzon, meaning to say, the fact that I want the Jewish people means I got also want to create a whole world. Right? I have to create a whole world so that the Jewish people have the venue to act the way they're supposed to, so they can get rewarded for the things that they're doing. Or the simple mashal that was given is your Ratzon Panimi is your family. You love your family. Going to work, you really don't love going to work, but I only go to work. It's a chitzoni, it's external. I go to work because I understand if I don't go to work, I can't take care of my family. So the same idea over here, that there's the techunas nafshis. It's what you naturally, really, really want. What do you really want? You love your family. That's your ratzon. Going to work, that's only intellectually. Intellectually, I understand I have to go to work because if I don't go to work, then I can't take care of my family. And Hashem really, really only wants the Jewish people. Intellectually, he says there's got to be a whole rest of the world there. The whole rest of the world. Then that's I understand that I have to have the rest of the world. So the same thing over here. So even though you don't really, you really don't want it, you don't desire it, but he wants it because it is ultimately a good thing to have and enables the thing that I want. So let's think. Why does Hashem want korbanos? This is Hashem. I love just the sight of a korban burning up on the altar, and the aroma comes up to Shemayim. It really smells great, man. I really love that. I from the original plans of the world, that's what I wanted. Couldn't care less about an animal. But what is he? But why does he like it? Because that's how the Jews are fulfilling the decrees of Hashem and doing what Hashem wants. What do I really want? What's my ratzon? Right? Or my chayfetz, rather. My chayfetz is, what I really want is the Jewish people. And what do you mean I want the Jewish people? I want you to do my will so that I can reward them. That's what I really want. That's what I really want. Right? And now, that's the chayfetz. I want the Jewish people to listen to me, so then therefore they will get close to me, and therefore I can reward them. And that's the whole reason I want everything. So now why do I want a korban? That's ratzon. That's the intellectual decision I made, that the way that they will show that they listen to me is by bringing a korban, generally speaking. The aspect that we're learning in Sefer Vayikra of bringing korbanos is to show that they're doing the will of Hashem. Right? But the goal of the korban is listening to Hashem. And that's what Hashem really wants. Okay, and that's what it says. So now he says, "Hachafetz." So now go back to the words. Hachefetz, hachefetz Hashem b'olos u'smokim. Does Hashem have a chayfetz? Is that burning desire what he really, really wants? That ratzon panimi. It's the ratzon panimi of Hashem that he wants korbanos as much as what he really wants is to listen to the voice of Hashem. Right? The goal is what Hashem chafetz is to listen to Hashem. Now, a lot of times, the means of listening to Hashem is by bringing a korban. But the korban is not really what he really wants. But rather, it's just, as the Malbim's terminology, it's the ratzon, which reveals that the person is doing what Hashem wants. But the real chayfetz is the Kol Hashem. It's the Kol Hashem. It's to listen to the Kol Hashem. And then he says the same idea again. He says, Shema, Shmoa mi zevach tov. Listening is better than a good korban. Because the goal of the zevach tov is the listening in and of itself. It's better than any korban at all. Because the korban is just a ratzon without a chayfetz. And more than that, it's lahakshiv. Okay? Which is good. He says Hakshav is pchusam from Shmiya. Okay, anyway, but from Chaylev, from the fats of the rams, which is burnt on the altar. So he's saying, how could you have changed to this, to not listen to the voice of Hashem and what he really wants, which is the chayvus of Hashem, in order to bring offerings, which is only what? Which is only the only goal of that is when you're listening to Hashem, not by not listening to Hashem. And that's the mistake when you take those korbanos. How could you mistake in listening to Hashem for anything else? Right? That's what we said on Friday night in Shul. We said the idea of it says that to bring a korban is a reach nichoach l'Hashem. It's a pleasant smell to Hashem. And then there's other psukim when Hashem is not happy with the Jews and says, I don't need you. What you're doing is not a pleasant smell before me. So what determines if it's a pleasant smell or it's not a pleasant smell? So we brought down in the Sefer that brings down a mashal. Just having a brain freeze for a second. And we'll What was the mashal? Just went out of my head. Just forgot it. I have to come back. Such a beautiful mashal. Just show. Okay, just slipped my mind. All right, Hashem didn't want me to say it. Okay, it'll come to me in the middle of Dominic. But the whole idea of bringing the korbanos is showing that you're doing what Hashem wants. That's the main idea. Hashem doesn't need all the other things. He needs you just to do what Hashem wants. And if Hashem wants that you should bring a korban, then doing the korban is just doing what Hashem wants. So if you're acting in a way of what Hashem wants, then it's not so much the korban; it's doing that He wants. So therefore, for that reason, you could bring a korban mincha. Even if you're a poor person, you could bring a korban mincha, which is the most insignificant thing. But what you bring by that korban is I want to get close to you, Hashem. And by wanting to get close to Hashem, that's the goal. And it doesn't matter if it's an expensive korban, if it's a cheap korban. Either way, you're doing the will of Hashem, and that's the real rutzon, the real chayfetz. But just mistaking the vehicle for that, that clearly isn't. We brought a different mashal at Shalosh Shudas, which we said where the fellow mashal to a fellow who let his cows graze without permission into the king's fields, and the king's furious, so he sends the soldiers go and take all the sheep, take it away from him. The guy finds out that his sheep got all captured. He's all upset. That's my parnasa was going to be. I'm finished. So he discusses his problem with his friend. His friend says, "Don't worry about it. It happened to me last week too. My sheep got into the field too, and I wasn't careful, and the king took all my sheep. But you know what? I went and I prepared a nice gift. I went to the king. I gave him the gift. He smooths things over, and everything's fine." He says, "Okay, I'll do the same thing." So he goes to the palace. He brings a gift. He goes right in there. He goes to the front door. He puts it on the front door. He goes to the guards. He says, "You can give me the sheep. Everything's okay." The king, "Everything's fine with me and the king. Give me the sheep." So they give him the sheep. They figure everything's okay. The king finds out a little later that there's this thing on his doorstep. He says, "What's this? This guy brought you." He said, "You took care of everything with him, and now you can." And he took the sheep. He says, "What? He took the sheep?" He takes this guy after him. He gets the sheep. And he says, "What's going on over here? I did everything I'm supposed to do. I gave the thing. This is that." So they bring him to the king. And he says, "What's going on?" He says, "I don't understand. Well, last week a guy did the same thing. He gave you a gift. Everything was fine. And now goodbye. You let him go. Why aren't you doing the same thing?" He says, "Hold on over here. The guy, when he took the sheep last time, he came to me. He said he was sorry. He went and he cried and this and that." I says, "Listen, I'm giving you a gift to show you that I really feel bad." So he promised, "I'm not going to do it again." Fine. What do? You let your sheep go and graze into my pasture. You already act like a boss. You act like you're the boss. Then you come to my house and you put a present on my doorstep without even talking to me. You think you're my boss. You go and tell my servants that you can go free the sheep. You say you're making like you're the boss. I'm going to show you that I'm the boss, and I'm going to take you and throw you in jail and keep your sheep and everything. Right? So again, it's not. So if you think you can bring korbanos, and by giving korbanos you don't have to listen to Hashem. The whole point is listening to Hashem is the whole point. You're bringing the korban to say you're sorry. If you bring a korban to say you're sorry and you mean it, then that's what Hashem wants a korban for. That's what He wants. But if you're not using it as a korban, you're using just to pay off God to allow you to sin more. That's not what Hashem wants. Right? It's what's in your heart. That's really what Hashem wants. He wants that you listen to Hashem. You want to do the will of Hashem. You want to be close to Hashem. Oh, I remember the mashal. Good. Spoke long enough, I remember the mashal finally. Right? There was a story, not a mashal, it was a story. It's a story. There was a rabbi in a town, and everybody loved the rabbi, and he did everything for them, and people helped. But there was one miser. There was one miser who didn't do anything. Mamish gave nothing a whole year long. Then would come Purim. This is Nogei Purim. Then would come Purim, and what did he do on Purim? Everyone would give gifts to the rabbi on Purim. Give him money, give him this. It was a rich rabbi, didn't need the money, but they gave him gifts, gave him like this. So the rich man, he feels embarrassed not to give something. He gives the rabbi a few shkolim. Fine. So then they come at night, they make the Purim Suda, everyone in the city is invited. So the first thing, the rabbi takes the few shkolim to the rich man, and he gives him the few shkolim, gives him back. Here, I don't need that. I don't want your shkolim. He says, okay, chutzpah. Everybody else gives you a gift, you take it. My gift, you don't take it. So he says, listen, a whole year long, I know everybody loves me. Everybody does what I want them to do. But everybody's busy, and it's hard to make a living, and it's hard to have time to express yourself, hard to have time to have the mind to give and this and that. But I'm poor, I know nobody's working. And now they have the time to really say their true feelings to me. And they give mamish, they give very nicely. They're really showing what's in their heart the whole time. But with you, I know you don't want to ever give. The only reason you're giving today is because you don't have a choice. Because if you don't give, you're going to be so embarrassed. So you're giving just to the Yitzhak. So what the pshat is, when they're giving me what's in their hearts. They're showing me what's in their hearts by giving the gift that they couldn't have given a whole year long. You're not giving me your heart, you're just giving me your gift. Your gifts, I don't need your gifts. Your money, I don't need your money. I don't need anybody's money. I need your heart. That I don't have. So if you normally want to give, and now you couldn't give, and now you're able to give, so it shows them what's in your heart. Whole year long you really want to give. That's the other people. Your whole year long you don't want to give. So your gift is just the gift, and it's not you. And that's what Hashem wants with korbanos. He doesn't want your korban, He wants you. That's you, is the reich nichoach to Hashem. Adam ki yakriv es korban. When a person brings himself as a korban to Hashem, that's what Hashem wants. That's His ratzon. So by Shaul HaMelech over here, Hashem didn't want the korbanos. He wanted them, just listen to me. That's all. I want you. I don't want your gifts. And that was the big mistake he made. And that we said that's the whole idea of all the mitzvahs do when you daven, when keeping Shabbos. Hashem doesn't want your davening. When you're davening, He doesn't need your davening. He needs you in the davening. Hashem doesn't want your Shabbos observance. He wants you in your Shabbos observance. So it's how you do it. And therefore, the same thing with Shaul HaMelech. He said, I didn't ask for sheep. I needed just one thing, compliance. And that compliance would have shown your love and dedication to me. And that was missing. And therefore, you cannot be the king. We'll continue tomorrow, Mitzvah.